Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Hops Geek News. We are a podcast that talks about comic books, movies, TV shows, and typically we feature a beer of the week. However, it is a Sunday morning when we're recording this. I am still not 21 as I thought I was on Friday night for St. Patrick's Day. So, my beer of the week is actually coffee from coffee beans roasted right there in Seattle, Washington at Pike's Place. Had to
Ooh.
go with the good ones. You've got the good stuff, from the original, the OG Starbucks, if you will. And today's episode is going to be about The Last of Us, final two episodes, and then we're going to talk about The Mandalorian. So if you're not updated to those, hey, it's okay. Listen to our news portions, come back, because the way this podcast works is we're going to go into what we're drinking, what we messed up on last week, what we've been reading and watching, some news, and then get into the meat and potatoes, the good stuff, if you will. I'm Matt. With me is Lauren. If you want to subscribe to the show, go ahead. Hops Geek News on any podcasting platform. Share with a friend. Leave a 5-star review. That's how the algorithm works and helps us grow as a show. And then come hang out with us on social media. Hops Geek News. We got a Facebook group you can join. You can come on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the good stuff. We're there. And without further ado, Lauren, I saw you hold up a bottle of Bailey's. Are you going to drink that Bailey's from a shoe?
So I didn't get to have Bailey's or Guinness on St. Patrick's Day. So I actually did just pour some Bailey's into my Batu mug here with just my Starbucks coffee. But we've been doing these morning episodes every so often, and I've been scared to dip my toes into another craft beverage because it's just expensive, and I already have one expensive beverage. But I have been considering there's an Instagram that we follow, coffee underscore N underscore capes. And I know Kevin from Hops and Heroes has bought their coffee. They post a lot of fun stuff because it's all like comic books and coffee. So I feel like I need to invest in their coffee for our future morning episodes. But
Yeah.
yeah, I did pour some Baileys in here. So I was actually out in Anaheim this weekend or this past week with my kids. It was just me and the kids. And I had no car. So I grabbed the car seat, got in an Uber, found an Irish pub, got there right when it opened, thinking that it would be low key. We could get, brunch there or whatever. I could get an Irish coffee. It was slammed. Everybody turned around and literally stared at me standing there holding my car seat with my three kids. So we ended up going like two doors down to some fancy brie cheese place, which was delicious. And then we went to Monkish and then we went to downtown Disney. And there was one place that had a canned Guinness. And I asked, well, can I get it to go? And they're like, no, you can't walk around with it here, which I don't understand.
California is so lame. I swear,
Disney Springs, we're allowed to walk around with it anywhere the
because
hell we
there's no
want.
rules in Florida. Florida, you just do what you want. In California, yeah, I hate that. You can't drink anywhere. You can't walk around anywhere. There's no Epcot in California to drink and walk around and stuff. So it kind of just
We
sucks.
can at Disney's California Adventure. I loved that. But outside of that, yeah, the rest, everything, yeah,
California Adventure is the only worthwhile spot, like Disney between
yeah.
Disneyland itself. Like Disneyland itself, meh. But California Adventure, Avengers Campus, oh man,
Yeah.
it will never get old to me.
But when I asked the guy at the cantina, he's like, "Do you want another beer?" I go, "Can I get it to go?" And he's like, "No." Like he was like disgusted with me. I knew the
Sir,
answer. I probably shouldn't
sir,
have asked,
what
but
if
I
I
was
just
still
walk
like,
out right
eh.
now? Are you gonna stop me?
But just the fact that you can't have a beer in front of the Millennium Falcon is just crazy to me. Because like, just well, why'd you put that there then? And like, I understand, they always say Star Wars was made for kids. Well, all the children that Star Wars was made for are now grown ass adults. And yes, the kids are into it too, but I would say there's probably more adults into Star Wars than there
Listen,
are kids.
listen, listen. If there's one word to there's a phrase to live by in this situation. Fuck them kids.
Fuck them kids. But the cantina was exactly the same, but I did have one beer that we don't have, and they had really good pretzel bread. And then Kaylee got the blue milk, and it's a different cookie on top. She really liked the cookie there.
Oh, I saw her
But
drink. Yeah, I saw you post that. I was like, ooh, what is that? But then like
yeah,
I'm only gonna go in the cantina and drink, to be honest with you. So I wouldn't try that. But if I brought the kids there again, because
well, you can still get the blue milk at the stand,
yeah. You
but you
could, you
can't get the
could.
cookie. Yeah, you just have your
We're
kids get it, and then you can try it.
Carrie and I are gonna probably go in June when we go to LA for the wedding, and so we won't have kids, which is gonna be nice because I don't have to worry about no
So
kids,
then you can really enjoy California
and
Adventure.
hopefully catch Rogers the musical too.
Yeah, yeah. That we obviously did not get to do. I'm going to watch it on YouTube. But it was really cool. The first day, though, was miserable. It was cold and rainy, and we were at Disneyland. But I'm kind of glad we did the cold and rainy day at Disneyland because, it's mostly rides. But it was interesting. Like there were things like we were in line in Space Mountain and the roof is leaking. It's like they are not equipped to handle rain because it's been like raining like crazy.
Yeah, it
And
really
like they're not
has.
used to it. Like for here, yeah, we're used to it. Granted, some of the parks flood even when we get but we get massive amounts of rain. But it was really cool. I feel like I'm gonna go off on a tangent because I need my coffee to set in.
Disneyland. Yeah, Disneyland's awesome. If you get a chance to go, like the obviously California Adventures is where it's at. It's got Radiator Springs for if you're a Cars fan, which I like the Cars movies, but it's so cool there, especially when I went and it was Halloween themed. It was really rad. And
Yeah,
my
they
favorite
saw
ride,
Christmas themed.
yeah, my favorite ride was the Radiator Springs ride there. It's such a long line that like it's worth doing the lightning lane pass for because it is fun as shit.
Well, so I did do Genie Plus, which was meh at Disneyland, but at California Adventure it was nice. But the Cars one, we ended up not doing it because it was an extra $20 a person. So it would have cost me
Yeah,
$80. And
yeah.
like Kaylee and I, remembered it last time we did it. And so Logan was okay not doing it. But we had to not let him know we did Incredicoaster because he was like, "Are you sure I'm not tall enough? Maybe you should measure me again." So we had to be very sneaky in our exchange or our switch off of doing that.
Yeah.
But we did 2 days at California Adventure, and I highly recommend that because the one thing that I love about living in Disney World or near Disney World is we're not rushed. We can sit there and enjoy it because I feel like so many people hate Disney because it's just go, go, go.
Well, most people, yeah, they go there and they blow their life savings. They
You
don't
got to
live
make the
there,
most
so
of
it's
it.
like we have to do this. We have to wake up. We have to bounce from everywhere to get every little thing in because we only have one day at the park or whatever. So it does kind of
Right.
suck.
Yeah, so I really didn't want to do that with California Adventure. I wanted to be able to sit in, Avengers Campus and drink a beer and relax and watch all the characters. And we got to do that. And we spent a ton of time in Avengers Campus. But it's so funny all the different things they have at California Adventure that like we have at different parks. It's like they have Soarin', we have that at Epcot, and like, well, there's a whole bunch of things. But
Well,
but
yeah, they
I
have to
what I didn't know
condense
is
it all.
yeah, and different. And it's funny how tiny the park is, but they still fit a lot in it. I didn't know they had a whole like area where the kids could like climb, like swing on ropes and run
I didn't
around in
either.
the it's over by the Bear Water ride next to the
Oh
entrance to
yeah,
that
yeah,
hotel.
yeah.
Oh my God, Logan loved that. He was like, apparently we were playing the chase game and I did not realize we literally had to like double team and like run on either side of him to catch him because he couldn't stop giggling and just running through there. That was probably his favorite thing. But he said Tower of Terror, not Tower of Terror. Mission
Guardians.
Breakout was
Oh,
his
Mission
favorite.
Breakout. Mission Breakout's cool. Oliver, my kids, they really loved the web slingers ride at California Adventures, which is fun
Oh
because
yeah,
it's exhausting. If
it
if
is.
anybody
Yeah.
goes there and you like, oh, the Spider-Man web slingers, you have to sling webs like you're Spidey, and you're going for like 5 minutes, and holy shit, it is so exhausting. You're just like flip, 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 flip.
Yep. And I had to beat
It's
my kids, and I did. So I had to go hardcore. It was so cute though, because then Logan met Black Widow and he was telling her about the ride. And she's like, "Oh, did you get that spider bot?" He's like, "Yeah, we got like 80." Now he says Black Widow's his favorite and they're besties.
Hey, they are. That's awesome. That's really cool. I love that.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I geeked out about there too is you have all the characters walking around. So like they're all yeah, of course they're like actors, but still like for me it was cool
I know, and they're
because
young.
yeah, you had Ant-Man walking around, Falcon and Captain America and Thor and Iron Man. Like Iron Man's suit, like by the part where you can go and meet him, like that's
Hmm.
really cool because it sounds like Tony Stark. And
Yeah.
it's just cool. Like Avengers Campus, that's where we would hang out for the most part too, just because you can sit there at Pim's Kitchen, eat, have some drinks, and then you're watching some of the shows that go on, like the Dora Milaje show or whatever show that they decide to have up on the balcony of the building there.
Taskmaster shows up and they gotta,
Yeah,
yeah.
and Black Panther comes out, and it's dope. It's cool.
Yeah. So my suggestion or my favorite spot that I did was because they have the Hank Pym's kitchen and then they have the lab. So the lab is the bar and that's where you can get the little mini flight. So I got that and then I just got lucky and got the table that was all the way closest to like the wall there
That's
and
what we
that's
did.
also where the characters come in and out.
Yep.
So like my kid was playing with another, set of kids. They all had their fake little weapons. I think he had a spear from Wakanda, and Logan was playing with the little Mjolnir that I have right here. And the characters would come in and out, and they wouldn't stop and like pose individually with pictures because they're they're on their way in or out, but they would stop and give the kids fist bumps, and it was really kind of cool. And then Logan stuck his fries in here because it's a cup holder, and he whacked the crap out of the other kids like Wakandan like thing. And the other kid's name was Logan too, so I screamed Logan, and they both jumped. But the fries like flew everywhere, and nobody knew what it was at first. They're like, "Oh, those are some cool special effects."
Yes, that's what they were. Special effects. The mighty fries of Thor.
All day I'm like, the Mjolnir's not a toy, guys. Stop being so rough with
I
it.
I am low-key jealous. Because when I went, I got the plastic Pim cup. I didn't realize they had the glass ones, like the mini flail. Like I should have done that. I'm stupid. I'm a
They're
fool.
plastic too. They're literally the glasses you
Oh,
get at beer fests, is what they are.
that's still cool. They look so much better. That's so much cooler than the one I got.
See, I figured you had saw that and just chose not to get it,
No,
but
I had no idea.
I wanted to get, they used to have an Iron Man Infinity
They
gauntlet that was a
did.
cup holder. And that's what I wanted to get. And they had a Shuri one, but I felt like with the Black Panther gauntlet, it didn't make as much sense as the Iron Man one. So
I
that's why I
failed
got
you
the
because I was
Mjolnir.
Carrie. Carrie had said, "Let's get Laura in this," and I was like, "I don't know if she would
Oh,
like that."
yeah, but you guys bring something back. I mean, we barely got our bags on board.
It's
It
okay. I
was,
get free baggage, so
wow. So it was the first time I flew anywhere by myself with all three kids.
no. That God, I'm doing that in a week. Flying out to Massachusetts, just me and the kids. We bought them iPads yesterday, so we'll see how it goes.
Oh yeah, the iPads were loaded. The way out there, I'm like, let's play with these toys. Let's draw. Let's play a game. The way back, I'm like, here's your iPad for 4 hours, kid.
Yeah, take it. So, anyways, let's get into it. What did we mess up on last week? Tim, let us know on Instagram. What was it?
So we had talked about Dunedin Brewing last week. I love that he's uh, fixing our not just our mess ups on the podcast, but he's fixing our mess ups on Instagram. I said to don't sleep in Dunedin, which we did, but I meant don't sleep on Dunedin. So if you saw my Instagram
Oh,
post
come
before
on,
I
Tim,
edited it,
grammar Nazi. Jeez
hey,
Louise.
I like it. Fix it. Let me know. I'd rather people tell me and I can fix it rather than multiple people go like, "Oh, she got that wrong."
Oh, wow, she's so illiterate. Oh, look at this lawyer. She's so dumb.
there's your
Oh
there's
man.
your Stanley
There's your
cameo.
there's your Tim cameo. Let's get into what we've been reading or watching. Why don't you go first?
Because yours is more exciting. I watched
Sure.
you.
You
I
watched me?
finished
That's
you.
creepy.
Exactly. That's what the
You
whole show's
finished.
about.
Wait a second.
Yeah, you on Netflix. I believe it just ended for good. It was pretty good. This last season, it was more of like a mystery. So, do you know the premise of the show?
Yeah, isn't he like a serial killer, basically?
Yeah, but he doesn't want to be. He doesn't like killing, so he says. But he gets like obsessed with like a different girl in each season, and he like stalks them, and he needs to know everything about them. And the first season, you kind of learn about his childhood and how he got that way. But yeah, it always ends up to where for some reason he needs to kill these girls he loves, but he's trying everything he can to protect them at the same time. And it's kind of like one of those like I just want to be loved genuinely, and but it's not just that. But anyways, this was the fourth season, and it was kind of one of those shows like, okay, how are they going to do a spin on this again? How are this is just going to be the same thing as last season? But I thought they did a pretty good job, and I would say they caught me by surprise with a few things. So yeah, my brother-in-law had recommended it to me years ago. I guess it was on Lifetime and didn't do great, and then Netflix picked it up and it got really popular.
I'm not
Uh,
surprised the show with that premise was on Lifetime because that's like the premise of everything that's on Lifetime.
Oh, well, no, I really liked it. Finished it on the plane. Not the funny thing, the really fucked up thing, the guy who's the main guy, I think his name's Penn Badgley or something.
Yep, yep.
He says girls will be like thinking he's hot in the show, and he's like, no, 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 I'm a bad guy. I'm a bad guy. Do not be attracted to my character. I am a
I
bad guy.
literally stalk and kill women. What is wrong with
Right.
you?
Oh,
But
girls
that's my
love it.
kink. We don't kink shame
That's
here, but
if it's a fantasy, that's fine.
all right, a little weird. But did you watch anything else?
Really just the stuff we're about to be talking about. Oh, and some Bad Batch. I am catching up on that. But once I
Mm,
finish that, I'll talk more about it.
yeah, I need to binge season two. I'm going to binge season two before Star Wars month because then I'll just catch up on it. We can talk about it during Star Wars month. For those of you who don't know, every May we do a Star Wars month. So we're looking at some topics this coming May. So one of the topics is we're going to dive into the backstory of Mandalore and all it's from the Purge to the war with the Jedi and all of that good stuff. So that's something that we're going to do in May. And yeah, I picked up some comic books. So I picked up the next two trades of Something's Killing the Children. So I'm saving those. So I'll talk more about that on the next episode. But I watched the show Shrinking, which is on Apple TV. Not going to spoil anything. It's kind of, I think it's by some of the same writers that do Ted Lasso. And man,
Mm.
holy crap. I had been meaning to watch it for a while. I just hadn't. And it stars Jason Segel, Harrison Ford. Dude, what a show. It is, if you, it's, they're about a therapist. So Jason Segel's a therapist who lost his wife. And so he's kind of learning to deal. He has a teenage daughter. She's 17. He's learning to deal with that. But everybody in the show is kind of going through something different. Like Harrison Ford's character has Parkinson's. He's estranged from his daughter. So he's got to navigate that. Jason Segel's friend in the show, Gabby, she's dealing with her own stuff. One of his he just connects with his patients, which one I don't want to go into spoilers because you really should watch this.
Yeah, I do
But
want to watch this.
like the amount of just heart and comedy, and it goes on every range of emotion. And again, Jason Segel is one of my favorite actors. Carrie always says that that's my doppelganger, especially just the way he acts between Marshall and how dumb he is and some of the dumb stuff he says in this show. But if you don't have Apple TV for anything else besides this and Ted Lasso, it's worth doing. Like Ted Lasso season 3 has dropped. Episode 1's out now, and it picks up right where we left off. We still hate Nate. I watched that as well, and I'm not going to spoil that obviously, but this season I'm pretty sure that is the final season of Ted Lasso, which I'm not ready for at all. And
Yeah.
Shrinking was 9 episodes, and I thought it was 10. So we're sitting there watching it, and once the ninth episode ended and it went to move on to another suggestion, I was like, "What?
Oh,
Wait."
that's always heartbreaking when
I
that
was like, "I thought it
happens.
had 2 episodes left. What do you mean?" Because it ended on such a good note, which means I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a season 2, which we better get a season 2 because that shit was so damn good. Like it was one of the better TV shows that I've ever watched.
I mean, that
Definitely,
cast right there, just the two of them.
yeah. It's just great. They're in Pasadena, California, and I don't know what it is with me lately, but I just want warm weather, which is very
I know.
abnormal for me. I want to be outside. I want warm weather. Normally, I'm like, oh, I like the cold. I like the rain. But right now, I'm like, I want sunny, warm weather so I can be outside. So I think the whole time I was watching it too, I'm just like, man, sitting on that park bench must be so nice right now. It was so weird.
Hey, you guys got a free place to stay here.
Yeah, well, hopefully we move to Florida or something here in the next few months.
It
Uh,
is funny the progression from when we started podcasting. You're like, I don't like the ocean, I don't like sand, and now you're like, I could go for some warm weather. I
I
could do
miss
a
the
boat
ocean. I
day.
miss I miss that kind of stuff. Yeah, so we're gonna be moving in a few months, and I'll find out. I get a list of places in 3 weeks, so let's hope that it's
Oy.
got some good places on there. And other than that, I did watch Shazam: Fury of the Gods yesterday. Now, this Warner Brothers did it so wrong in marketing this movie. There was like zero marketing behind this
It
movie.
really was, yeah.
It sucks because I loved Shazam 1. I thought it was great. It was a fun movie. I took my 7-year-old and we went and saw it yesterday. In this movie, I think I liked it better than the first movie, honestly. I liked it. I enjoyed this movie more than I did Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That's
Wow.
and that's not a knock against Ant-Man. Like I loved Ant-Man too, but this movie it's a comic book movie. It was fun. You shut your brain off. I thought a lot of the complaints were, hey, Zachary Levi and Asher, they don't act like the same character. Zachary Levi acts like more of a kid, but I thought in this movie they actually kind of fixed that. They act very similar. You really focus on the family a lot there. This movie is kind of like a Billy movie where he has to struggle with being this superhero, and he's going to be 18 soon and he doesn't want to be abandoned again and kicked out of the house. And I thought Freddie stole the show, honestly. Like he was fantastic in this. My only complaint was like the villains were kind of like, there really wasn't a lot there. Like Lucy Liu phoned it in pretty hardcore. But I mean, it was still overall entertaining. Dijman Husu, I can never pronounce his name right, but he stole the show, I would say as well. He was great as the wizard. And I hope people watch this movie. It was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. And this might be the
Yeah.
last time we see Shazam, but the post-credit scenes kind of got me excited and teased that he could still be in. However, this was all done well before James Gunn took over, he said. And yeah, I hope James Gunn sees it and keeps this Shazam at least in the
Right.
DCU because I think there's a place for him and there's a lot they could do with him. And we'll
I
see,
wonder
I
if that's why
guess.
they didn't really market it because they're moving on.
Yeah, I think that too. Like, oh, we don't know what James Gunn's doing, or maybe we know his plan, and Shazam's not a part of it. So why would we dump money into doing it? But then also, I've heard that they're gonna pretty much base what they do with him off of the box office. So it's like,
But if you don't market it, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
yeah, that's
Or
my
they're
big.
trying to make it so that they have an excuse later. Don't market it, it doesn't do well. Oh, look, it didn't
Oh,
do
nobody
well.
came and see. Nobody wants to see it. But at the same time, this is the same people that have recently just said that they feel like the H people get confused or HBO Max is hindered by the words H or the letters HBO and HBO Max.
Which
So they want
makes no sense. Maybe for
to
younger kids, maybe?
No, not at all. It's like what? HBO, like HBO is a household name
Right.
for
That's what I'm saying. Maybe for like, I don't know, like my daughter's age, I have no clue. Because yeah, we grew up as like HBO, like you only had HBO when you were at fancy hotels or something. Or you
yeah.
would, go over to a friend's house just to watch Sopranos because everybody didn't have HBO. So yeah, it was always like a prestigious thing. I don't know.
I don't know. They're all messed up over there. Absolutely messed up. I don't understand what they're doing whatsoever over there. It makes no sense to me.
But the two movies, like you can enjoy them standalone, even if they don't go anywhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They like loosely tie into the DC because they talk about Flash and what they talk about Wonder Woman and Batman and stuff like that. And it's go watch this movie for it's just fun. It's just
Right.
fun. It's what the way movies should be made. Just have fun and shut your brain off. Not everything needs to be Avengers Endgame. Not everything needs to be The Dark Knight. I don't need an Oscar performance out of every single movie that I watch.
Zachary Levi, you don't want an Oscar performance out
No,
of him.
I just want to shut my brain off and have fun. But people hate fun these days. I swear to God,
I think
everybody
some people
is
just have fun being dicks. I think
they
that's what it
yeah,
is.
they just want to wallow in this misery and shit on everything, and it's exhausting, and it must be exhausting being around you as a human being because Jesus Christ, you're so negative. And I
Or
guess
they
that's the
just put
cool
it all
thing.
online. They're probably really nice people out in the world and they just put all
Well,
their
yeah, I
negativity
mean,
online.
it's so much easier just to hot take, and everybody's got a hot take, and that's what gets attention. And I don't know, it's just dumb. No, it's
Right.
just dumb, as Benoit Blanc says. It's just dumb.
Right. But yeah, if anybody's interested in the comic book origin of Shazam, we did do an episode back when Black Adam came out. So you can find that wherever you listen to the podcast. Just scroll back. I think it was October, late October, early November, sometime around then.
Yep, that's what it is. So let's roll into some news. First things first, I'm excited for this news because I'm a Nickelodeon fan. As you can see, I got the Roosevelt's Nickelodeon on it if you're watching on YouTube. And Good Burger 2 has been greenlit by Paramount Plus, starring Keenan and Kel. They're coming back. It's been like
This was my
30.
generation on all that.
Oh my God, I loved it. And the first one, of course, Sean said the first one didn't hold up. I don't doubt that. Like it was a
I think I
Nickelodeon
only
made
saw
movie.
parts of it. I think it was like supposed to be
Mondo.
absolutely terrible.
Well, it's not
I
cinema.
forgot they
It's
even had a first one. Despite the saying Good Burger too, I completely blacked it out of my head that there was a first
good
one.
old Mondo burger, man. And those burgers look disgusting. it's I love Good Burger. Keenan and Kel, man. They take me back to the 90s and all that. And Amanda Bynes and all that cast and crew. I'm excited. I don't expect again. I'm not looking for Oscar worthy performances. I'm looking to bank in on some nostalgia.
Hmm. I feel like it's like Bill and Ted. Like, where's Kel been? I mean, we've known where Keenan's been. He's been at Saturday Night Live for the past
Oh
20
yeah,
years.
killing it.
But Kel, what is he? Has he done anything?
Not really. He's popped up here and there, but I don't really think he's done too much. I think he does like a lot of producing on Nickelodeon, possibly.
Ah, like behind the scenes stuff. Well, that's cool. Well, I hope this does good. I don't know.
Me
I want
too.
to see it, and I hope it is. And with this being this type of movie, I feel like it would be a good one for adults and kids because I'm guessing there's going to be humor for both of us.
Definitely agree. And then we another sequel that's happening is in the works is Smile 2 is happening. I watched the first one. A lot of people really love this movie. Me, I didn't love it. I
I
didn't
didn't like the
dislike
ending.
it. Yeah, I think the ending. I wasn't really a fan of the ending.
Hopefully, the
Or
sequel fixes that because they built
yeah.
it all up, and then that was it.
And then I think like seeing the creature or whatever was behind it kind of took me out of it. I don't know why, but
Yeah,
yeah,
sometimes
Smile 2's
showing the
coming.
monster ruins it.
Yeah, I think that's what it was for me. We got to see the monster behind everything, and I was just like, meh. But hey, if you enjoy this movie, Smile 2 is happening. And yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Of course I'm gonna watch it. Why wouldn't I? Like I said, I didn't hate the first one. I enjoyed it. I just didn't like the ending, and that's okay.
I agree. I feel exactly the same way. So I'm hoping this one gives me some closure and fixes what I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
like about the ending in the first one.
agreed. And so, The Last of Us, as we know, season one wrapped up with game one. Well, part two, game two, is going to take more than one season. I have a feeling that I know how they're going to do this, which I'm going to get into when we talk about The Last of Us here in a few minutes. So, in that regard, James Gunn has posted about directing Superman Legacy. At first, he was just, he's very against it. They kept asking him to do it, I guess. He was very against it, didn't really feel like he was the right fit. And he was writing the script, fell in love with the script, and his brother apparently pointed out, like, hey, it's coming out July 11th, 2025. That's our dad's birthday, July 11th. And it just, you
How did
know,
he not realize that?
well, sometimes when you're doing things, it's like, oh, you see the release date, like you're not really connected to what the studio's doing, maybe. They're like, oh, they want to release it on
Uh,
this day. Cool, sure. But then, oh, it clicked. Yeah, that is dad's birthday. Oh, I'm writing this, and this has maybe a lot of my soul into it too, like because he's writing the script. So it may be just one of those things that, oh, light bulb. I was so deep into writing it and didn't focus on
I guess
anything
I see
else.
birthdays and it's like if it's somebody close, like that's the first thing I think of. Oh, that's
Me
on so
too.
and so's birthday.
Yeah, I mean, me too. But yeah, so he's going to direct it now, and a James Gunn directed and written Superman movie is going to make $1 billion because I have no doubt in my mind when he casts Sean Gunn in some. No, I'm just kidding, but uh, I do fully believe that yeah, this movie's gonna make $1 billion. It's James Gunn. Look at what he did with Guardians 1, 2, and 3. And apparently people early returns are that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is the best of the trilogy. So
Oh.
emotionally expect an emotional gut punch while also
Hmm.
getting a lot of really good action.
Yeah, Sean Gunn's going to be in Superman
Oh yeah.
somewhere.
Oh
Even
yeah.
if he's just a stand-in for someone, he's going to be in there.
That's what I'm saying. Like people are complaining online about his wife who plays Harcourt in the DC universe, like, oh, James Gunn's casting her and everything in the DC. And he was like, first of all, she was cast before I had anything to do with DC. All of this stuff was filmed before I had
Oh,
anything to do
that's
with,
right. Isn't that like how they met or whatever?
yeah, something like that. So if anything, people are like he casts his brother and everything he does. So you're pointing at the wrong thing, and who cares? Because Sean Gunn is great in Guardians as well.
Right. As long as I'm not for the nepotism if they can't act. Like, don't put them in there just to put them in there. But if they fit the role,
Right.
they fit the role.
Yeah. Right. And
Yeah.
then I mean,
Everybody does that. I mean, look at Adam Sandler, his wife's and everything.
Adam
Like,
Adam Sandler makes
she's
movies
got
with his
cameos in
friends
every,
to go on vacation. So it's like,
right?
come on.
Like his wife
Uh,
has a cameo in like every movie. She's like
yeah.
Stan Lee in the Adam Sandler universe.
It's ridiculous. People just again, people just want to be mad. And the last bit of news I have is it was told back in December that Ben Affleck will be directing something for James Gunn's DC universe. That's not the case. Ben Affleck had an interview come out where he was like, I'm not doing it. Look, I love James Gunn. I respect James Gunn, but I'm not going to have anything to do. I'm not going to, nothing, not doing it. And he was talking about how he loved playing Batman in Man of Steel, BVS, or not Man of Steel, sorry, how he loved playing in BVS. And then when he went to work on Justice League under Joss Whedon, he said it was one of like the worst experiences of his life, and it really
Mm.
just ruined everything for him. And he has 5 minutes worth of screen time in the upcoming Flash film, and then that's it for him. And kind of sucks because you can tell how much he loved, and that was like a dream job of being Batman. And then fucking Joss Whedon kind of just ruined it, and now he doesn't want anything to do with it. It's sad because he was a really freaking good Bruce Wayne, in my opinion. I loved him, and I would have
So
loved to have
many,
seen more.
yeah. I mean, he's not my favorite Batman, but that's still shitty. And like so many people have terrible stories about Joss Whedon.
The whole cast and crew pretty much had not a good time under Joss Whedon's Justice League. Obviously, he butchered the shit out of that film because what we got was terrible. So that's all the
Well, and
news I got.
yeah, well, I think if it's shitty on set, that can sometimes reflect in the movie too.
Oh
But
yeah, if you're not having fun at all, it's going to show in your acting. Like that's
right.
just yeah,
Well, yeah, and the longevity of everybody on Supernatural. Oh, I think the show lasted so long because we all got along.
yeah.
So my first piece of news, I was very excited to see this. I've been waiting for this. Hugh Jackman posted a video of him working out with a hashtag becoming Wolverine again. Oh, that made me so happy when I saw that. I knew it had to be inevitable, but it's like every time he's posted a gym selfie in the past, like, since Logan came out, I'm like, please be coming back, please be coming back. And it's like, Disney buys Fox, and I'm like, please be coming back. And finally, Sweet Tooth season 2 is coming out April 27th. So very excited for that. We
Yeah,
did an
that kind of came out
episode.
of nowhere.
Yeah, I was surprised too. You were actually the one I saw posted that. So I'm excited for that.
Me
We
too.
did
I
a
thought,
whole
yeah, we did a whole episode. I thought the first season was fun. Just FYI, this story is depressing in the comic books. Like the comic book is bleak, very
Oh
bleak.
yeah,
So I'm interested to
it's
see
gonna
if they
get
follow
worse.
that because they didn't really follow the bleakness in the first season. So yeah,
No, it was more like hopeful but sad.
this
Oh
story is
geez.
bleak.
I wonder how Netflix will take it. I know we've talked Beetlejuice too, but it is, still in the works with Keaton and Jenna Ortega. I believe Jenna Ortega was a rumor before. They've cast a Vanessa Fisk for Daredevil Born Again, but it is not the same one from Netflix. It is a different person, Sandrine Holt. I don't know if the other actors had no interest. I don't know if they just wanted somebody different,
Yeah,
but
I
I'm
don't
really
know.
hoping they don't recast other certain characters. The MCU is creating their very first superhero, not villain, because I believe Whiplash was created for the MCU. Her name is Kahori. She's a Mohawk woman on her quest to discover her power after the Tesseract transforms a lake into a gateway to the stars, and we will meet her in What If Season 2.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. She's a Native American superhero, which is going to be rad as hell.
Yeah. Yeah, because we did meet one in the New Mutants, and it was that movie just
We don't talk
we don't
about that
talk about
movie.
New Mutants.
That was painful.
Yeah, those characters were all great. I really hope the MCU does something with the New Mutants at some point and fixes it. My last piece of news is for International Women's Day, they did release a documentary called Empower. There's 4 episodes and it's showcasing the women of Marvel. I started the first one and it's all about the Dora Milaje. I know there's something with Gamora, something with the Marvels. So definitely worth checking out if you like fun facts, like obviously we do. I would
Yeah,
check that out on Disney Plus. And that's the last of my news.
I just realized I watched one more thing because we hadn't talked about it. I did see Scream 6 last weekend, by the way, which again, I love the Scream franchise. I'm not going to spoil it. This one was really good as well. I only have one issue, which I know this is the point. Like the amount of people that get stabbed in the abdomen that survive, it's kind of funny to me. Like everybody's taking knife shots from these 12-inch knives to like the gut, and they're just walking around fine. That's my only complaint. This movie is really well done. I thought the twist in it was really good. The actors were great. And go watch Scream because it was a fun movie. And it takes place in New York City, which one of the most suspenseful scenes in the Scream franchise for me was on the train. And if you watch the movie, you'll kind of get it. It was really well done, really suspenseful. I thought everybody carried it. It was great seeing Hayden Panettiere come back. Uh, really hope Stu comes back in number 7. Just saying they're teasing it. And that's my quick
Even though he's
recap.
dead,
He's not dead. He's not dead.
Stu's not dead.
He's not dead.
He
I'm
got
telling you.
stabbed, had a TV dropped on his head.
Hello,
Did he
did
get
you not
shot
just hear
too?
me? Did you
I
not
know,
just hear
I
me
know.
say that people are taking like all these knife shots and they're still
Yeah.
kicking? I'm telling you. Is
Uh,
anybody truly ever dead?
feel a
No.
little woozy over here.
No, I'm no
Um,
woozy man.
I was gonna have a question. I forgot what it was. You didn't see the ending coming at all? Because that's what I didn't like about the last one. Is like
No,
I
I didn't see
predicted the
this.
killer.
No, I didn't. I
Okay.
honestly didn't see the killer the way they twisted it. Honestly, straight up off the bat, the opening for this film was probably the best in the franchise next to the original Scream one. So it was a really, really freaking awesome opening to the whole movie that set the
What
tone.
was Hayden was in the one with Julia Roberts' niece, right?
Yeah, she was in there at with Emma Roberts. That was number
4,
4.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, they came out in 2011. So
And so what happened? God, it came out that long ago.
yeah,
So she was the survivor, but she was friends with Emma Roberts, correct?
yes, it's been a while since I've watched that. So yeah, she was a survivor, and now in this one, she's a cop.
Ah, so she took her
Or
PTSD and channeled it to
yeah, she's
do
an
good.
FBI. Essentially, she's an FBI agent, and I didn't see the thing coming, and it was good. Like I said, the opening was the best, minus number 1 in the whole
Right.
series.
You can't beat that Drew Barrymore scene. Okay.
Mm-mm. All
Yeah,
right,
I'm
well,
definitely going to see it, but I'll probably wait. My 10-year-old's begging to
there's
see it.
just so many good movies out right now. Like John Wick comes out next weekend, so I'm gonna go see John
Oh,
Wick.
already? Damn.
Yeah, it's 3 hours of just John Wick action, and apparently this is the best one in the franchise
Murdering
too.
people. But
I
he's on a
still,
horse this time, right?
I don't know.
Or was
He's
that the
got
last one?
he does it all. I don't know. I haven't seen 65 yet either. I've been meaning to watch that movie too. I haven't had
Oh, with
time.
Adam Driver, yeah.
Yeah, so all right, let's get into it. Let's go. We're gonna talk about let's talk about Mando real quick before we go into the Last of Us wrap up. So The Mandalorian has a couple of episodes out now. I believe what, 3 episodes out?
Yep.
Yeah, all right. So the second episode was spoilers from here on out. Just FYI for everybody, spoilers. So if you haven't caught up, we're going into
Yeah.
spoilers. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I thought that episode 2 they arrive at they go to Mandalore and everybody's like, Mandalore, that place is poisoned and cursed
It's
and all that.
cursed. And
It is.
Bo-Katan just chilling on her throne. It's not cursed.
She's like, it's not cursed, but she's still just chilling in her empty house, whatever, as one does at a very uncomfortable stone throne. And so Grogu and Din go down there. Poor, you know, Pedro, he gets paid to just get knocked out and lay there because that's what happens in this episode.
Yep.
And he's captured by some robot. Grogu's out here flying around doing some cool shit. Bo-Katan comes and saves him basically, and then they go bathe in the waters.
Right. And we did talk about that a little bit on the last episode because I still think that she earned the dark saber. That is my theory.
She definitely did. I feel like, yeah, she definitely did. So I guess we did talk about this episode. So let's talk about episode 3 then. And uh, I really liked episode. It was a departure. So we got maybe 10 minutes of
I know,
Mandalorian.
which I was a little upset about, but I very much so enjoyed this other story too. So I was like, oh, okay. But I was like, all for, I just want this Bo-Katan, Pedro or Mando Grogu storyline. I want to see them just fly off together and beat up bad guys.
Well, that's the thing. It's like they set it up really well. Like
Yeah.
you have the Empire, the remnants of the Empire is they're coming after them. They get into like a really cool skirmish, but then you get to see TIE bombers blowing up Bo's house. And she's like, what the hell, man? They're blowing up my house. And so that goes down. Kind of sucks. Like
Yeah.
now she's involved. She's directly involved now
I like how
because
she's like, let's go finish this once and for all. And I was like, you don't feel like that. And then she's like, oh no, he's in trouble. Let me go save him. Like,
yeah.
don't act like you were gonna go out there and kill him. And then all of a sudden you're like, I have to go save him.
Yeah, yeah. This one was directed by Deborah Chow, actually, which is really she killed this episode. I thought the cinematography of when they were flying around in that battle was really cool.
Yeah, it was when she did the thing where she like flipped half of it around and like fought, like there was some really cool scenes there. I like when she's like, I
Yeah.
don't worry, I grew up flying these mountains. And she hits something, she's like, it's been a while. I do love that you see Grogu now use the Force and he doesn't fall asleep. So I'm guessing that was part of the Jedi training with Luke is that
Yeah,
he doesn't
thank
need a nap
God.
afterwards now.
Yeah, like thank God because it was getting kind of old. Well, not like old, but
That was
yeah,
adorable every time.
it just sucks because he does like one little thing and then he's like, "Good night," and I was just like,
Yeah, but
"What?"
his one little thing is like he puts a Rancor to sleep and then he falls asleep with him.
Yeah, okay, that's fair, but still, it's like, what? Come on.
Like he threw the one monster or the one guy out of the way to go to Bo-Katan and then he just kept going. And I was like waiting, I'm like, is he gonna need but I still don't understand why they haven't made it clear in the show that he was gone for so long. And the goofy lady from Elf does make a comment when he like force jumps out of the thing to her. Oh, when did you learn to do that? So we're getting these nods of okay, he had training, but maybe he's just a fast learner. Like, why is it not been made clear that it's been so long? We're just supposed to figure all this out. Like, maybe the town just got really clean really fast. I don't know. I like it being mapped out. You're muted. Oh,
Yeah, I just time's just a flat circle here. Okay, time is just so flat. And so in this episode, though, we go to Coruscant. We haven't been to Coruscant in a long time, so we
we
get
were
to go
there
back.
in Andor.
Well, that what? Yeah, but I mean that's true. We were there on Andor, but what was great was we actually get to go back to Coruscant in this one, and we get to see Dr. Pershing. He's back, and now it's interesting because does this take place after? I don't know, like when this takes place because he was a bad guy. He's trying to do the
I
cloning
don't
of.
know that he always was. I truly do believe that his motives were good. I knew that hers were not at all, which by the way, that girl, what's her
L-
name?
Katie
Ellie
O'Brien, who plays communications officer Elia Kane.
Elia Kane. Yeah, she was the badass in Quantum Mania.
Yeah, she
So,
was. She belongs in Power Rangers as you know. But anyways,
I love her. I'm hoping we see more of her. But
oh,
I knew
great.
she had no good
Well, it was
intentions.
interesting. Yeah, I mean, she
But
just screams like I'm up to zero good in this episode.
yeah, 100%. But so Dr. Pershing, I always felt like he was being manipulated because like he even said, like, this is just a child, don't hurt him. Like he didn't want to kill Grogu. He didn't want to do,
Right, that's
but
fair.
so I do believe him. And I feel like, what I really liked about this episode was just showing how they dealt with switching from the Empire to the New Republic and having
Yeah,
this
they have.
rehabilitation program and how they're still doing things that are evil with the Mind
I was
Flayer.
gonna say yes. The way they're like shock therapy on these people to get them to reverse engineer their brains. They're not exactly better than the
We're not
Empire at
doing
that
that.
point.
We're not the empire. But
Yeah.
also to see the very wealthy, oh, we don't pay mind to that. Like we don't want to be part of politics. We just try to
Well, they're
stay out
like,
of
oh,
it.
I would have been drafted. Could you imagine?
Right.
Yeah, like
I
it
did
was
love though
very interesting.
when the one guy, I think it was the same guy that said that, he's like, Republic, New Order, and he's like, I can't keep track. And I'm like, I sometimes feel like that when I'm watching this stuff.
I
It's
mean,
like, wait, where are we? What is it? New
to
Order, First
them,
Order?
nothing really changed, right? Other than there was no Jedi running around Coruscant anymore, but they're rich, so they didn't
Yeah,
have any involvement in anything. It didn't matter to them.
right. And it's not like you have the stormtroopers on the streets dictating what they're doing. Yeah, 100%. And
Yeah.
if you're being blind to it, you're not seeing what's happening anyway. So,
Yeah, and I will say, Dr. Pershing, his motivations were that he couldn't save his mom because his mom died,
right,
and he was like, if I was able to clone or an organ and give her a new one, then she would have lived, and that was kind of his old motivation. He just wants to continue his research and save people.
right. But right away, this made me think that they're setting it up for how a certain someone was cloned.
Obviously, that's the whole reason they're
Okay, I
doing
was
this.
excited. I was like, oh, this is leading to that. It's still new for me. So whenever I'm like, I feel like Captain America, I understood that reference. Even when he said the
Yes.
Caminos, the research of the Camino, I was like,
Zero
I understood
spoilers. It's
that
been out since
reference.
2019. Yeah, obviously the cloning in this is going to lead to the cloning of Emperor Palpatine and how he somehow returned.
Yep.
I'm still not over that. Ugh. But
Somebody needs to tell Oscar Isaac.
yeah, I will say though, they go to it was cool seeing like the remnants of these Imperial ships too when they go to that
Yeah, it's
graveyard.
like a
That was
graveyard.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And then she turns on it like it was a whole setup, and he gets arrested. Now he's getting electroshock therapy, and she very like what the hell? She cranks the electric shock up to 10, and the poor dude's getting like, what is her? I need to know, what is she doing? Is she truly healed and rehabilitated, or is she trying to like,
Just
hey,
trying to bring him to the dark side.
oh that yeah, okay, I guess maybe that's what she's doing. She's trying to get him to turn on the Republic to come back, and then he clones Palpatine.
Yeah, that's what I think.
That
Because
would
yeah,
make
the
sense.
whole
She's a
like
secret agent.
all of it, none of it made sense. And it's like I kept thinking like, oh, I hope for his sake that she's being a true friend, but
She's not.
I knew she wasn't. Yeah. That did I
These
was surprised
hoes
though when
ain't loyal.
but I was surprised though when she had set him up. Like I figured something else was going to be happening, but when she like stepped away when like, the equivalent of the cops showed up, I was like, "Oh, I did not see that coming." What I did think though when I heard the noise, I thought it was going to be Mando and Bo-Katan and Grogu because when he's like, I'm sending you coordinates to somewhere they'll never find." And it's like, why would they look for them on a junkyard in
Coruscant,
Coruscant?
yeah. But no, because we after he gets arrested, that we go back to their story where they show up to the planet and his people, and he shows up. He's like, "I am redeemed," and the one dude's like, "Man, he's
The
angry. He's
John
angsty.
Favreau character.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's
Yeah,
not
he
about it.
hates Mando. Oh
Yeah,
my
he does.
gosh.
He's like, I am redeemed. Blah 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 blah." And so he's like, "Look, I got proof. I got this water tube." And it's like, how? Like, are we sure? No, they can obviously test it, which they do. And she's like, "Yeah, Emily Swallow's character was like, you are redeemed." And then she's like, Bo-Katan, you too are redeemed. And Bo's like, "What?" She goes, "Have you removed your helmet since bathing in the waters?" No, she
Which was
hasn't.
interesting because normally she takes it right off the second she's done with battle, and she just happened to leave it back on this time. It's
Yeah.
like I think it was because she saw the mythosaur, and like why didn't she tell Din that she saw the
Well,
mythosaur?
because the whole mythosaur is, if you see the mythosaur, that means like the next, the chosen one, so to speak, for Mandalore is there. Is it's time for them to rise again, right? And so she thinks it's Mando. She's like, why would I tell him? Because then that just
Ah,
leads to him thinking that he should be the savior of
but he
Mandalore.
doesn't want it.
He doesn't want it. She does. If you remember, like
Yes.
her whole motivations
Oh,
is
I
like
know.
she, yeah. But I did see an interesting theory: is what if it's Grogu?
Mm.
What if he's like the savior of Mandalore, which would be an interesting twist. I know he's not a Mandalorian, so to speak, but
Right. But
he
you
kind
could,
of is. He's like an honorary one
oh,
right now.
he's being raised as a Mandalorian 100%. He's a foundling. And like, Din's even training him for that. He's like, you see these coordinates, and he's like, Mandalorians need to know these coordinates and this and that.
And
He's a
what if
hundred
that's
percent.
why he's not in the sequel trilogy? What if it's because Grogu's chilling on Mandalore when they're bringing Mandalore back to power and
But
prominence?
he's also, at what point would he even be considered an adult? So this could even happen way past the
Oh
sequel
yeah,
trilogy. Okay, so
that's
that's going to
true.
be the future Disney Plus show. Din Djarin's going to be dead. Everybody we know is going to be dead,
Because
and
Pedro never
Grogu's
lives. Pedro dies in everything he's in. So yeah,
Chewbacca's going to be somewhere though. He's going to be an old man at this point, and Grogu's going to be ruling Mandalore.
I that would be
You heard
kind
it
of
here.
cool. Like I can't wait for him to finally start being able to speak and stuff. And then what if like he beats Bo-Katan for the dark saber, and Grogu's lightsaber is actually the dark saber? Although it's a little
Ugh.
big for him to wield, so I don't think that would really work.
But if he's truly the leader, would it be too big for him to wield?
Man, I don't know. Maybe, maybe
I hope
not.
his
That's true.
first words are Dank Farrik. Be
Uh,
like, Grogu, watch your
how
mouth.
could you? But yeah, so we did see the Mythosaur though, which in the second episode,
That
so
was
that was
such a
cool.
cool
But
scene.
you can tell. I don't know. I don't think Bo-Katan is like evil. I don't think she's going to be
No,
evil. I'm not buying that. So
no, I think she has always wanted justice. And I was watching an interview with Katie Sackhoff, and she was saying, in the cartoons, Bo-Katan was young. She was a bit naive. She was impressionable. And like, because, she was part of what, the Death Watch. And like
yes,
Satine, obviously her sister, was more peaceful. And Bo-Katan was just doing whatever, the people around her were telling was the right thing to do, kind of. So she is now older, a little bit wiser, but she's also cynical now. And so she's got to have this.
well,
I'm
yeah,
hoping we're
she's
going to
watched her
get
people
this
just die. Her whole life has
right.
been death.
But I'm hoping we get this like arc redemption kind of thing with her because I absolutely love her. I love the
I do
actress. I
too.
love the
Oh man,
character.
she's
I
awesome.
love her helmet.
Well, Katie Sackhoff was even like, I love getting to wear the helmet because then it's I don't have to
Oh,
act with my face. She's like, I
good,
get
because
to
she might be wearing it for a while now.
yeah, well, she gets to like emote. And that's the one thing I really like about this show. So if you look in the Marvel, right, they are absolutely always removing the helmet. Something happens. Like look at Ant-Man. Every 5 seconds they remove their helmets, and it drove me nuts.
Oh,
Whereas
they
in
just with
well,
the
like there's so many like, oh, we're paying this big prolific actor to, we want to see their
right.
face. We
We
have to
need to
see
see
their
Paul Rudd's
face.
face.
But no, like you don't have to. And also this kind of works because Pedro, he's not always available to be on set. So like
Right.
he has two other body doubles and he just voices over. So I think that works. But Katie Sackhoff is even like, I love wearing the helmet. Put it on. I get she's not to the level of Paul Rudd, but
She probably doesn't have to have her hair done either because that's clearly not her hair. She's got long blonde
yeah.
hair.
Well, it shows that you don't have to keep taking the helmet off to see the face of these people for us to really love what they're doing. And it
Right.
also
You could,
helps the
yeah.
actor in the way that they can prepare for these roles.
Well, when everybody was coming up to her and like patting her on the shoulder, like, oh, good job, welcome, like you
Yeah.
could tell in that moment, even though you couldn't see her face, that she was like, oh,
Her
okay, I
face was
kind
of
of
shock. Oh
like
yeah.
this. But yeah, she was
Just the way
shocked,
she
but it
was
was
like,
also
what?
like, yeah, I have a family again, kind of, or
Well,
because
she
when we
hasn't
first
had
met
one,
her
yeah.
too, right, she had friends when now she doesn't. She's all by her
I'm
lonesome.
a loner, and a loner's got to be alone.
But yeah, the Avengers, everything's a nano technology now. So they're all just quick, quick, quick,
Quick, helmet on,
always.
helmet off, helmet on, helmet off. Yeah, it's
Probably the CGI
that
costs
that's
money,
that's a
but
whole
Star
other
Wars, they have
debate.
real helmets. It
Yeah,
doesn't cost them extra to keep the helmets on.
I do wonder about like Mandalorian helmets. Like, how bad does it smell in there? Also, like,
They
how
have
does
a,
it
because you
how
hear
does
the
it seal? Well, how does it seal? Does
that I
something like
have no
seal
idea.
around their neck? I have a lot of questions,
But
but
I bet it has some sort of air filtration system.
I'm sure it does too. I'm sure it does, but
My thing
it's
is, I want to
great.
see what everybody looks like. Like, I hear your voice.
That's
Like,
not the point. We know.
oh, can they take them off when they have sex, or do they, do they actually
Nope.
keep them
The
on?
helmet stays on during sex.
That's so awkward.
We only got one rule in this household, and that's that the helmet stays on.
You're like done, and like the girl's like unconscious because you accidentally hit her with your head.
Or what if you both just have helmets on?
Oh my God, that'd be so noisy.
What if we touched helmets?
I guess you don't have to worry about hitting your head on a headboard if you got help.
Oh, my head. Just kidding.
Oh my God, I want to see that scene with Mando
There's
and
so
Bo-Katan
many.
now with their
There's so
helmets.
they hook up and it's like the helmet stays on. She's like, but then he said, I said the helmet stays on.
This is the
He's,
way.
he's like, the armor is like, but did you remove your helmet? No.
Nope.
Okay, it's cool.
They
You
walk in
are
on them in bed,
still redeemed.
smoking cigarettes with their helmets still on.
He's up there like taking
Yeah.
a I guess yeah, all right. Well, that's the Mandalorian season 3, episode 3. Let's go into The Last of Us that has just recently wrapped up, talking episodes 9 and 10. Episode 9, that was the setup.
Religious one, right?
Yeah. So obviously,
Oh,
again,
the
this is
Terminus one.
this was basically the same episode, the same week that Pedro was knocked out in the Mandalorian. He was knocked out in this because he was still suffering from the stab, right? And this
Got
is
paid a lot of money that week to lay there.
hey, look, I love it, but he does come to life at the end of this one, and so it's more of like Bella. She has to, Ellie has to go out and kind of she's trying to save him. She stitches him up, trying to get medicine. That's where she stumbles upon the wonderful doctor there, David, who is a religious cult leader, and then we get James, who's Troy Baker, who's actually the voice of uh, Joel in the video game. They're out looking for food because they don't have food. They're running low on food. They're a little religious cult. The
When they're
girls
eating
little
people, which I didn't pick that
well,
up right away. When she's like, "What kind of meat is this?" And he's like, "Venison." I'm like, "Why does she have an issue with
no,
venison?"
they ate that girl's dad from the
Right,
beginning. Yeah, because
right.
they're running
We'll
low on
bury
food.
him in the spring.
The
And I
ground's
was
too
like,
frozen.
right.
Mhm.
I was like, well, why is that even an issue? Ugh. It was like I
Yeah,
hated that those people in The
yeah.
Walking Dead too.
It was so yeah, they're cannibals. Surprise. And then she stumbles after
Cannibals.
she shoots a deer and she's like sick, and that's when she stumbles upon these two, David and James, and she's threatening him, holding up gunpoint. David sends James back to get medicine, and he's just like, trust me, because James is like, let's kill her. They must have been the ones that killed, so and so's dad, whatever his name was. Because it turns out that those 3 people at the Colorado University that they killed or got into it with were from this group of people. And the guy that died was the girl's dad. And so it gets really creepy. Like Scott Shepard played David. He was creepy as shit. And you'll see it because he they leave, Ellie gets away, they take the deer back, all that good stuff. Well, they send a search party to the town, they find her, and so she leads them away from Joel, which is really cool because she's on the horse, and then they shoot the horse. And I was like, dang man, why do we got to keep killing horses?
I hate when
Also,
they kill, especially in like war movies. Whenever they kill a horse, I'm just like, oh,
not the animal.
I know, sounds terrible, but
Fuck the people, not the animal.
the animal didn't do anything wrong. It doesn't even know why
I
it's there.
know, but however, it
And why not
was
drag the fucking horse back and eat the horse? Stop eating people, guys. Take her horse, eat the horse, let them move along.
that's true. Yeah, I will say, and also, why are you eating people? You have a whole ass deer and now a horse to eat.
I guess that was the first they've gotten in a while.
Yeah, but like, why?
When then the bodies you saw, like, well, I guess it makes sense that they were all skinny because they were starving, but how much meat are you even getting off of those skinny dead bodies hanging there?
True. Well, also, it was when they get to that part where it shows that they're eating her dad. Like David has a whole ass, big ass bowl of food while everybody else has
Yeah,
scraps.
he's got more than everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that like right away. I was like, dude, you're
I knew
wrong for that.
I knew he was bad just about how everybody was acting around him. Like they were scared. Like before he even hit the little girl, I knew he was bad.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, clearly, yes. So that's kind of what goes down there. They capture Ellie. She gets thrown in there. She's talking shit, and this is when David gets real creepy. Like, look, I
Rapey.
could, I could save you. They want to kill you. I could save you. He gets real rapey with it, and she basically bites him and says "fuck off," and he's like, okay,
Do you think that would actually infect him or no?
I don't think so, but she doesn't know that. That's like it's I he doesn't know that because yeah,
No, it was a smart play.
he they put her on the table and she's about to get butchered by David and James, and that's when she bites him and she's like, "Look, you're infected, motherfucker," and pulls up her arm to show that she's infected, and they're kind of taken aback, and that's when she grabs the butcher knife and freaking gets Troy Baker's character right in the
Kills, yeah.
throat, just like the video game goes down pretty much just like that in the game. Meanwhile, Joel has come to life kind of because he's like he heard Ellie like, "Hey, here's a knife," and when she left, kill anybody that comes down here. The search
He
party
killed a
finds
few of
him.
them.
Yeah, well, he comes out and kills the one guy, captures the other two, has the one dude tied up in a chair, the other dude tied up, and he's just torturing him. He's like, "Where's she at?" And they're talking shit, and so he's really great. He stabs the dude in the leg. That was pretty brutal. And then you know, they point on the map and he just kills the guy. And oh, dude, it was so brutal. The kills in this episode, in particular, were so fucking brutal. It was
Yeah. He's like,
amazing.
he's telling the truth. I know.
He's like, I know, and he stabs the dude too. It's oh yeah, that was like I just wanted more of that. Yeah, brutal killing of these assholes. I was
Yeah.
excited. Do it. And then that's when also Ellie, meanwhile, like there's that whole like I get Jurassic Park vibes with the Velociraptor in the kitchen scene from when she's hiding from David. That
Ah.
was kind of what I thought of. What you what did you think of this episode? What did you think of how everything was going down?
I mean, I enjoyed a lot of it. I obviously knew that they were both going to be okay, and I knew David was evil from the get-go. It was just a matter of how it was all going to go down. Um, no, I thought it was really good, and I think the best part that came out of this episode, though, is the relationship took a pivot between the two of them after this. And obviously he calls her baby girl at the end, but also seeing this, kid who was doing nothing but reading, dad jokes the whole thing is suddenly suffering
Having
with
to kill people, yeah.
PTSD. I don't think it was just the killing people too. I think it was the almost getting raped part. I think that that was heavy too because it was like, she's great with a gun and she's, smart mouth and everything like this. And then it's like this one guy can, make her feel so vulnerable and try to do what he tried to do to her is like a next level. It's almost like okay, she's killed a couple people and been okay with that, but like doing this, I think just was next level. So yeah, I thought the best thing that came out is just the progression of their characters together.
Agreed. Yeah, this is when they really show that father-daughter relationship like kind of connects and clicks almost, which
Hmm.
yeah, I mean they both he finds her and she's just like, "Oh fuck." And the place is burning down. She kills David and that's kind of where we leave off. And now we're going to the finale, which they get to Salt Lake City, they get to the hospital, and it plays out just like the video game does, like step for step video game. They go there, and they find the fireflies. It turns out, in order to make, they don't even know, like they
Right, but
don't
the
even
opening was
know.
the birth scene.
Oh, that's right, that's right. We start with the birth of Ellie, which Ashley Johnson plays Ellie's mom. This was intense.
Very intense. Yeah. No, she did phenomenal. And I saw memes that was like, oh, thank you to this actress for bringing Ellie to life twice. And this is the same woman we see as the waitress in Avengers. And I kept thinking like this
Oh, I
person's
didn't
going to
even know
come
that.
back because she looks so familiar. I finally did like an IMDb search on her. She was a little girl in Growing Pains that they added later on that had like the blonde curly hair. I'm like,
No
that's
way,
why
that's
she looks so
awesome.
familiar.
Huh. I didn't, yeah, had no idea. I just knew she voiced Ellie. That's all I knew her from. But I
Right.
guess I've seen her in a ton of stuff, apparently.
But yeah, she did a phenomenal job. That whole scene was great. Marlene, though, dude, girl's a bitch. Like how, and the way she's like, I can't kill you. We've been friends forever. And then she goes in there so aggressively and
Cold
kills her.
blood, yeah, because Ellie's
Yeah,
mom, she's giving birth, gets bit by one of the zombies,
right.
and turns out, oh, that's when she cuts the umbilical cord right away. Which I wonder if,
She had already been bit. 100% had already been
oh
bit,
yeah, but I'm
obviously. And
like,
she knew that.
it's interesting because do you think that that little bit of virus got to Ellie and that's kind of helped her immunity, or
Hmm. That's what I think. Yeah.
yeah, they don't really ever explain it, but I do wonder if that's. But then yeah, Marlene just goes in there and cold blood shoots her, and
She's like,
that's
I
the
can't kill you.
opening.
Oh, wait, I can.
And she's a bitch at the end because when they get to the hospital, it turns out that we're doing psycho medicine that we don't even know is going to work. Their plan is to cut Ellie's brain, the infection out of her brain, and she's going to die. And Marlene's cold blooded about it. She's like, this is what has to happen. But this isn't the first one that they've operated on, and clearly it hasn't worked at all.
Oh, it's not. See, I didn't pick that up. She seemed like it was very like the doctors say that this is going to happen, so we have to go in and pull this out, and that's when Joel's
But the
like, yeah,
doctors
but
don't
it
even
starts
know.
in the brain. Oy.
Yeah, and so that's when they're escorting Joel out, and he goes feral and straight up. I loved the music over what was actually happening. I thought it was really cool how like the subtle actual sound effects were in the background while you had the song playing in the forefront, and you see Joel just killing everybody.
When it felt like you were watching a video game or like watching somebody play a video game. It
Well,
really did feel like that in
yeah,
that moment. That's the first time I felt like that watching this show was because all of a sudden you were like from his perspective, like going around shooting everybody.
Yeah, he goes into dad mode, and everything happens just like the video game. He opens the door and kills the doctor right away. Boom, shoots him right in the head, and
Hmm.
they just move right past the doctor. We don't really get to see any significance there, and don't even really get to meet the doctor. It's just bang, you're dead, and then he takes Ellie and goes to the parking garage, and that's when Marlene shows up. And just like the game, you shoot Marlene, and then he finishes her off essentially, and you're driving away, and Ellie kind of wakes up, like, what happened? And Joel doesn't tell her. He tells her a lie.
Yeah, because he doesn't want her to know that because she fears she would sacrifice herself.
Oh, he knows without a doubt, like she would have sacrificed herself to make a cure, but I don't. There's not really. There isn't a cure. I don't think.
No,
And
but Marlene like promised her friend, not very clearly, but she promised her friend she'd take care of her. And now she's just gonna like
she's very quick to give her
sacrifice her
up, go
right up.
across the country. How did you get across the country? She was surprised when they showed up. She was like, "You guys
Yeah.
survived? What?"
Yeah.
It's
She's like a
like,
bunch of my men got, done for. I do get why Ellie grew up like in the QZ though. Like I could see like, okay, the Firefly life is in the life for, especially because as soon as the baby was born and the mom, I like that the mom even said that she's like, I didn't want to nurse her. I was like, thank you for, because so many times in movies, they don't like get that baby on the boob right away. That is what happens. Like you
yeah,
got to feed that baby right away. Like no matter how you're feeding the baby, feed the baby. So I like that they actually presented that as like an issue. So I could see her having dropped the baby off the QZ because they're going to have formula, and the baby needs that immediately. But then to not even tell her, who she is, it was like when she had Ellie like
nobody is good in
handcuffed.
this. Nobody. There is no good
Like, why
person.
didn't she ever tell Ellie about her mom and what her mom did to save her? And I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, there is nobody good in this world. Like none
And
of these
she
characters are good.
She must have put it together though when Ellie didn't turn that her mom had lied and was bit before she cut the umbilical cord.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got, that she kind of already knew she was immune before she got bit later on as a teenager and all that stuff.
I don't think Ellie knew she was immune.
No, Ellie didn't
Yeah,
until she
okay.
got bit. Yeah, I'm saying Marlene probably had kind of an idea because I think she knew that she
That the
would.
mom was lying.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that's probably another reason she probably dropped her at the QZ. Good luck
yeah,
with your zombie baby.
yeah, right. And then yeah, at the end, Ellie was like, "Joel, everything you said was the truth, right?" Yeah, sure, it was.
She
That's
knows he's
their.
lying.
But I think she needed to feel better, and that's kind of where we leave off, and that's the end of video game one too. They stayed faithful, and so what were your thoughts about the season? How'd you feel? Was it? I know like this ending probably wasn't as divisive as a lot of people were playing it up to be, but just wait.
I loved the whole show. I mean, I thought it was great. I thought the background of the characters was great. Learning more about them was, yeah, I loved every single episode. I don't know. I don't know
It
what
was
else
it
to
was
say.
honestly one of like it was perfect television. It really
Yeah, I did
was.
not expect to fall in love with this show, but I definitely did.
I'm glad you did pick it up because yeah, it's they ran a clinic on, hey, this is how you create this is how you make a faithful adaptation while also adding to the source material. It helps that the person doing it also was the one who made the video game, so they,
Hmm.
that obviously helps. But at the same time, like they made really good additions to it, such as episode 3, and
Hmm.
it's it's a great TV show, and I just hate that we have to wait probably 2 years at least
Oh my
before.
God, I know, probably more. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I hope they start soon because I really want to freaking. Come on, just like give us. We need this, please.
Right.
Hurry it up already.
Well, and
But
like
yeah.
you made this video game such a great show. Can we do that with the Cameron Monaghan, what is it, Fallen Jedi
Oh
story?
yes, because that game, Fallen Survivor or Jedi Survivor, comes out April, end of April. So I can't wait to play that game. But yeah, there's a book out right now that takes place in between Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, which I want to read. But I would love that because there's been talk about bringing his character to live action.
Yeah, and I mean that actor, they don't even need to recast it. Use him. He's
Well,
fantastic.
he's yeah, he played in Gotham, and he
And
also
Shameless.
Shameless, and he's a good actor. So, and
Hmm.
he's the guy in the video game. So yeah, do it.
Yeah, and
Please.
he does. Yeah, he already knows how to use the lightsaber and whatnot. And I heard his droid is the same droid as in Mando, because I heard
Mhm.
people making comments about like, oh, that's the droid
Same kind,
Mando should
yeah.
have taken.
And they have a Lego set of that droid too, actually. But
Mm.
Yeah, I really hope they do. And I hope that this kind of shows people going forward that this is how you can make faithful adaptations in building off the source material. Because if you look at Resident Evil, those shits suck.
Oh,
And
shit, suck.
yeah,
We'll
they
see how the
really do.
Mario movie is soon.
I am so excited for that movie too.
Oh, and
But
the Tetris movie. They're making
yeah,
a
there's a
Tetris movie.
Tetris movie, there's Battleship, there's all these things. Yeah, not everything should be brought to the big screen or the little
Right.
screen, but
But I
you
mean,
know,
yeah, the video games went back in my day when I played video games. It was on a Game Boy. Like there weren't stories like that.
well,
So
we
it's
have
interesting that
yeah,
you go through these stories, but it's like I don't want to get into video games. I don't need to get into video games. That's just another,
speak for yourself.
time-sucking hobby and money. I don't have time
Yeah,
for
video
more
games are
hobbies.
expensive now. They're like $70 to $80. It's like
Exactly. But
that's
like if you're
expensive.
expanding on a universe that I'm familiar with, like I want to watch the stories.
I'm still gonna play a video game. I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy. I'm on my second playthrough,
Oh,
so
it's
that's just
nothing
me.
against video games. I just have too many hobbies as is.
That's true.
I can't. It's like the coffee thing. I don't want to dip my toes in this. It's just going to cost
I
more
don't have
money and more
time for
time.
this.
Right.
One day, when the kids get out of the house, you'll have all the time in the world.
I have very much so enjoyed watching these and talking to you about them after we watch them and then you telling me what happened in the video game.
Yeah,
So that has been a lot of fun.
yeah. There's gonna be a lot to talk about with season two, and they're gonna split it up, which I think so. There's a 5 year gap in between video game one and video game two that I think we're gonna go back
Mm.
and explore. One thing I do wish they would have done is give us some more of the the clickers and the zombie aspect because
Yeah, there really
they
wasn't much.
yeah, I get this is at the core of what this is. It's about people,
People.
and that's what but I at the same time I kind of wish you gave us more of these the
Yeah.
zombie aspect. I hope and I think they are going to do that more in season two is what they said, and I think that's fine. Again, like I said, at the core of this is Ellie and Joel's story in season one, and so I just would have loved more of that suspenseful action, things like that, with dealing with the zombies. Like, yeah, we know people suck, but I want
Hmm.
more of these too. Like, I also want more of these. Like, that's what this is about. Because in the video games, you're constantly facing these things, in addition to the story that we adapted. So give me that.
Right. Or are they going to go back to where Tommy is and then go get that really funny couple and be like, hey, they're actually not evil if you guys ever want to come back. And they're not eating people either.
I don't
So,
think we'll see those people ever again. But yes, they are going to go
no,
back
we
to where
need a
Tommy's at.
spin-off sitcom.
Yeah, that's where we are. So that's it. That was The Last of Us. That was our recap. Go ahead, watch it. If for some reason you're sitting here listening still and you haven't watched it, do yourself a favor, watch that. Watch Mandalorian. Uh, we don't have any. There's no real TV shows out besides Mando and Bad Batch. Bad Batch is about to finish up. Mando goes until the middle of April. After that, we don't know when the next Marvel show is. We don't have
Yeah,
any
what's Secret
HBO
Invasion
series.
doing?
We don't have anything. So now that's the time to catch up on these shows that we're talking about, such as Ted Lasso, such as Shrinking. Me, it's going to be Supernatural, and
Yes.
yeah. So keep an eye out for those. We will be back next week. We have a really cool creator interview coming up soon with Derek Robertson, one of the co-creators of The Boys comic book and executive producer of The Boys TV show. He's done a lot of other great work, but obviously The Boys is coming back at some point soon, so we're going to be talking about that. Make sure you follow, subscribe, all that good stuff,
Ooh.
and
Um, Jeffrey Dean Morgan is on set. He did post a
he
picture. He was
is
doing the middle finger. That's why I did that. And so he's on set of The Boys working.
he's there. They are going to be wrapping that up. I'd imagine June probably because that's
Yeah, they
typically
don't
when they
tell you until
release.
like shortly before. Prime is a
Yeah,
little weird about that. It's like all of a sudden, oh, look, it's back.
we still don't know when Invincible season two is coming, so which is
Didn't
crazy.
they say
But
some point in the summer?
I
No, we'll
don't know.
find out.
We have a bunch of like coming soon, such as for Secret
Yeah.
Invasion, such as Loki, such as Echo. Who actually knows? We'll see. Let us know what you're excited to see coming up and when you think things are going to come out. We'll be back next week. Thanks for hanging out with us. Cheers.